What if I told you that true black eyes don't actually exist? Well, most people know someone with eyes so intensely dark they look like endless pitch black voids. But biologically speaking, the human body cannot produce black eye pigment. What you're actually staring into is a masterpiece of extreme genetics, hyperdense melanin, and optical illusions. Today, we're peeling back the genetics to explore the 7 distinct types of black eyes. We'll see the rare visual patterns they hide, the ancestral secrets they carry, and why some of them aren't actually black at all. Let's start with the deepest variation. Number 1, the Obsidian Core black eyes. This is often considered the most common form of true black eyes. In this type, the front layer of the iris is flooded with the body's darkest brown pigment, eumelanin. But because this pigment is packed so tightly, it swallows almost all incoming light, leaving behind a deep, inky expanse that looks completely black to the naked eye. Genetically, the Obsidian Core is linked to ancient ancestors who lived near the equator. In fact, the heavy melanin in these eyes acted as a pair of built-in sunglasses, shielding their sensitive retina from harsh UV rays. So if your eyes resemble polished obsidian, you're carrying the ultimate genetic shield against the sun. But what if I told you that among the millions of people with basic black eyes, many are actually harboring a stunning genetic secret? Well, that's number 2, the Supernova black eyes. This variation is the ultimate master of disguise. If you have supernova black eyes, you've probably spent years thinking your gaze was just a solid, boring black. And indoors, it certainly looks that way. But when you step into harsh, direct sunlight, the illusion shatters. These eyes contain a hidden trace of a lighter, reddish-yellow pigment called pheomelanin. Now, the moment a strong beam of light hits the iris, that deep black suddenly fractures, revealing brilliant streaks of fiery copper or rich amber hiding just beneath the surface. Historically, this is a genetic marker that points to a fascinating ancestral mix, often linking deep equatorial lineages with populations along the ancient Silk Road. Next is 3, the velvet night black eyes. While the supernova hides a fiery secret, the velvet night black eyes are all about a mysterious calming vibe. These eyes are so incredibly soft and endless, it almost feels like you're staring into a calm night sky. Biologically, this happens because the front layer of the eye has a highly irregular sponge-like texture. So instead of reflecting light, this tissue traps and diffuses it, creating a soft, matte, almost endless black appearance. Genetic anthropologists suggest this cellular structure could be a recessive trait passed down from ancient populations who thrived in deeply shaded, dense forest environments where absorbing ambient light was more critical. And because they lack that sharp shine, behavioral experts note that people often find these matte eyes so incredibly calming and soothing. But what happens when we look at the exact opposite? Enter 4, the Onyx mirror black eyes. Have you ever noticed how some black eyes seem to sparkle or reflect light like a piece of polished glass? That's the Onyx mirror eyes. This effect happens because of a perfectly smooth glass-like layer within the iris. So instead of just absorbing light, this flawless surface of the Onyx mirror bounces it right back. The result is a sharp, piercing gaze that feels incredibly alert. Evolutionary biologists believe this highly reflective surface is an ancestral adaptation passed down from populations living near vast, sun-drenched bodies of water or high-altitude snowfields. So when someone with these eyes locks onto you, you don't just see a dark iris. You literally see your own reflection staring back. Number 5, the Eclipse black eyes. Now we have one of the most visually dramatic black eyes. While every human eye has a limbal ring around the edge of its iris, in the eclipse eye, this ring is massively thick. Because it is so thick, it bleeds inward. Indeed, it casts a heavy shadow over the rest of the eye, creating the distinct visual of a total solar eclipse. Psychologically, this is fascinating as this dark border is subconsciously registered by the brain as a powerful marker of youth and vitality. In fact, our ancestors actively selected mates with these exact borders because it was a visual sign of incredibly robust DNA. But if you want to talk about raw physical attraction, nothing compares to what we see next. Number 6, the dilated void black eyes. Unlike the other variations, this one isn't a permanent eye color at all. It happens when a person's eyes suddenly turn completely black right in front of you, all because of a biological reaction. See, whenever a person experiences an intense rush of dopamine or extreme physical attraction, their pupil expands massively. Now this expansion swallows the colored iris, transforming the eye into a glossy, bottomless pool of pure black ink, leaving only a razor-thin rim of color. That's what we call the dilated void. So if you catch someone looking at you and their eyes suddenly expand into a deep black void, it means they are intensely drawn to you. And finally, we arrive at the rarest and most astonishing type. Number 7. The Anoridia illusion black eyes. This variation pushes the concept of black eyes to its absolute biological extreme. Triggered by a mutation in the PAX6 gene, Anoridia causes people to be born with the iris partially or even completely missing. Now, without the iris to regulate light, the entire visible center of the eye is completely one vast open pupil leading straight into the dark chamber of the retina. As a result, this creates an unbroken, bottomless appearance. It is quite literally the only true pure black eye on the planet, and occurs in roughly 1 in 50,000 births. So there you have it. The next time you look into your black eyes, remember that you aren't just looking at an absence of color. You're looking at a complex mix of evolutionary shields, hidden fire, and intense psychological reactions. Do you have a hidden supernova or the solid depth of an obsidian core? Let us know in the comments below.